Today we're going to be looking at a plugin that can take all these crazy EQ moves that I sit here and sort of try to find a good one for, and it produces an EQ like this. This is what it sounds like. Without the EQ at the front here, it still sounds cool. It's not as cool, but it still sounds cool. This is what it sounds like. But you could see this produces quite a bit of automation. There are some things here that go to other effects in here, but it would be nice to sort of encapsulate this inside of just one movement, one motion. And that is the idea behind Disarray. So this is Disarray. It has the ability to have effects, and then you can go from one side to the other and morph between a bunch of plugin parameters inside just this one area. So it kind of streamlines it pretty nice. You can have many effects. The default ones, the ones that come with it, are fantastic, but you can also add your own plugins to it. So if you want to merge between other plugins, this makes it really easy to do that. And it's great for things like maybe you want some sort of a space mixer where there's a bunch of verbs and you can just move through until you find a nice mix for what you want. Those sorts of things. So let's go ahead and build this EQ idea and hopefully replace some of all this like crazy automation. So let's go over to the effects, and I put it here at the front of the chain, by the way. So we'll go ahead, we'll turn this on. So this is Disarray, and I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these effects for the moment. And let's take a look here at the other stuff. We'll also not need any of the points right now. And so we're going to go over to the effects. We're going to add an EQ. We're going to use the parity EQ. So in order to view it, and I can make this bigger, by the way. Let's make it bigger. In order to view it, we'll go ahead and click this little box, and this will show us the EQ. So let's set this first filter to be a bandpass, something like this. It may take a sec for it to update. Moving a second filter sometimes does it. And let's find a sort of a neat thing. So I think having a pretty wide bandpass will be fine. Let's have a narrow peaking filter sort of help out right around here. And then we'll have some ducking of the high end up here. And I'm not seeing it update. Sometimes you have to hit play. There we go. Something like that. And we've got quite the peaking. Oh, it's important to keep, no, I keep forgetting when I'm working with parity. These down here at the bottom, the frequencies scaling is quite high on the high end. So we're actually touching the ultra high. Like we're at 2K by now. So this is like way high. So we actually are going to want most of our action way down here. We'll take these down, get our filters a little more sorted. Okay, so we've got some good color options now for moving around. So it's useful to beforehand sort of pick what you want. This is going to control the high end. We'll just bring the gain up and down on this. This little notch here, maybe we'll have them move back and forth a little bit. This guy's frequency is going to zoom up and down. That's going to be a key thing that we're going to want. And we'll have this little frequency boost come up and down as well. Those are going to be the general motions. And before we would have had to automate like each one of these things and keep track of it. Where now what we can do is go over to the points, and each one of these things can be controlled. Now I do like to see the effects, so let's go ahead and let's keep it open just so we can keep track of everything that's going on here. I like to stick it on a second monitor, but I'll bring it on screen, but it's pretty nice if you have two monitors. So I'm going to go over to the points. We're going to go to edit layout, and this allows us to control how these are happening, and each one of these lines has a way of radiating the control, but what it boils down to is when it's bright, it's going to be at the high end, and when it's dark, it's going to be at the low end of whatever this is set to. And they have colors so that you can sort of visually distinguish them. So what we're gonna do is let's take what's our first one. Let's handle this like peaking guy going up and down. So this is filter 1. It's red on there, so let's make it red here as well. There we go. Now they kind of match. And what we want is we'll have it when it's down in this corner. It will be pretty high. In fact, let's make it sort of visually make sense. So we'll have it come down here. So this is like lots of peaking, not very much peaking. And we'll set the ranges for this. Now this is right now set to the frequency. Let's set it to the gain. And we'll move it and you'll see the region. And as we move it, we can see what it's going to do. So that's pretty good. We might want it a little less than that. And there you go. That's going to be the region as we move it up and down, how it's going to go. Let's add the next one. So the next one is our filter 2 here. And this guy's just the frequency is all we really want to touch on this. So we'll go ahead, we'll turn this on and I'll move this a little bit lower. And so the screen real estate suffering here. And we'll go for frequency. This was 2, right? You're on band 2. Yep, we're on 2. And the frequency range, we don't want to go as low as that might be a bit low. Maybe we'll bring it up somewhere around 300 maybe. Yeah. And we'll have it come all the way up to whatever that region is. So we'll take this down. So you can see visually the darker regions are sort of the knobs range. So you can sort of match them. It's a nice workflow. It's pretty easy to figure out what you want. That might be a little high. Let's play it in here. No. That's a good region. That's a good region. That's a good range. Okay, then we have our little notch filter friend here, which is just going to be doing interesting movements. Let's turn that on. What filter is this? This is 3. By the way, you can have more than 4. You just double click. You can keep adding points. Parity EQ is like its own entire thing. So I don't want to get too far into it, but it can do some really neat stuff. So let's go over. We'll choose parity EQ. If we had other effects loaded, we could mix other effects in. Flangers potentially with this sort of a thing could be pretty neat. So we're gonna go here. We want band 3. We are gonna move the frequency around, and let's see what a good range is. Like maybe from there to there. So we'll go from there. We'll set the low end up. We'll take that on up. Go down maybe a little bit lower, something like that. And then the high end, we don't want it to go too high. Maybe we'll cap it right there, somewhere around there. So there you go. It can go from there to there. And this sort of a range, yeah, that's fine. It's not like super critical that this has a particular range. Oh, we're on 2 because they overlap. But I didn't consider how they are going to work in the space. Maybe we'll have 2. When it's low, we sort of expect a low frequency. And when it's high, we kind of expect a high frequency. So maybe we'll do something like that. But we do want it when it's low to sort of get this bit of boost here, so that it makes sense. So maybe on this one, we want this flipped. So you can just simply click the flip and let's change it to linear so that it doesn't have these sides. So this may make a little sense. At this point, it might be worth, wow, it's so pretty. Moving them down. So when we come down, oh, I flipped away from what I wanted to do. Let's push this button one more time. So now, yeah, that's going to be a pretty nice motion. And then you can get all these interesting in-betweens. For our last one, we've got this notch filter here, the band 4. Let's go for parity EQ. We're going to go for band 4. We're going to go after the gain. And this one, let's see here. I'm not seeing it update here. I'm on gain 5. We don't even have a 5 on here. We'll go gain 4. And let's see what kind of range we want here. Yeah, some sort of a boost. So we'll come from this sort of steep cut. We'll limit the range somewhere around there. And we'll come up to a nice boost of like, 6-7 dB, somewhere around there. And we'll come right. We'll give it 9 dB boost. It's pretty dang big boost. And how's this sit in our layout? For this one, we want it more of a cut more often than not. So let's change. We'll click to see what it's doing. We'll set this one in the middle and be kind of odd. And we'll flip it so that it's backwards. And let's just see how this works out. Mostly a cut. When you get to the edges, you get that boost. Yeah, let's see how that sounds. You see how easy that is? That is so flippin' easy compared to I mean, setting it up takes some time, but you could save this as a preset and then alter the points, change how they remap, and you've done what I spent a really long time doing with EQ individually. So let's go ahead and shrink this. You can make it smaller, just so we have some room. And let's automate this XY. Now, there is this auto feature up here if you'd like to record it, and it will repeat the same measure. But since we're sequencing here, we obviously are probably going to want to have specific filter moves depending on the line that's happening. So I'm going to go with automation in this case. I'll also sit on the mix tab so that this is generally where I'm going to hang out after I've sort of configured this the way I want. Oh man, I can pick a picture? Let's go. Interesting. It is quite pixelated. This is a really old, like we're talking decades old version of my logo. It's strikingly similar to theirs. Now let's give it a comment. Now this is just purely a filter box plugin. This is pretty nice. We can give it a pack. Oh, I guess not. It's grayed out. Tags. Save. Wow. Wow. So fancy. Okay, so let's automate the thing. So we'll go to browse parameters. So we'll go ahead and take this, automate, and we don't need the browser anymore. Okay, so now I've got an X and a Y thing. Let's just do a few bars because, right, doing the whole song. I almost left out a very important part. We have to engage it. And this is true of the effects in some of the presets. There's a live button here that makes it so that the effects are only actually on when you're interacting with it via MIDI or you're clicking it and moving it around. Which can be really, really important for some effects like transition style stuff. So I am going to also go to browse parameters and grab this engage button and automate that. And I'm just gonna leave it on. I'm not sure if there's like an awesome way to just have this always be on. You got me. I'm gonna do it like this. So that's how I'm doing it. But let's hear it. Wow, maybe a lot. Let's maybe do some smaller moves. Maybe we take this one down. Maybe we go up. Oh yeah, that big motion right there. How would that be? Yeah. Let's set this high is low mix. It's kind of useful to see the plugin while you're doing this so that you can pick values that make sense. Yeah, something like that. Oh my gosh, it's a beautiful thing. We'll do a sudden jump, come back up, and this one will go down. And we'll keep it low, and then we'll do this like rise style thing. Yeah, and away you go. But you can see instead of messing with like 20 automation clips, or I don't know, there's not 20, but you know, a bunch of them, it's just 2. And you can come in, and if something strikes you as you'd like to try something, you could either add a second one if you want to. You can automate the parameters directly, which is still an option. And you can grab a lot more EQs and other plugins rather than just the stuff here. You can load third-party VST. So if there's one that's got a cool channel matrix that you like or something, that's an option. You can do that. I chose to stick with the built-in stuff. So that's Disarray. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for future videos, and have a blessed day.